G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. This part of our TE20 series on our 1954 TE20, we've just finished doing the clutch and the front gearbox seal and all that sort of thing. And I thought as part of the series, we may as well do the hydraulic pump. Now, we have a Sparex kit here for the hydraulic pump. It's the later pump, and being the later hydraulic pump, we've never done a video on that. We've done a video on the early pump, but not the later pump. And being the later pump, there's different things like there's O-rings around the valve chambers and things like that. Look, it's just a little bit different. So, but what I'm going to try and explain in this next couple of videos, one is getting the PDO out. Well, we need to take the PDO out to get the hydraulic pump down as the PDO shaft goes through the hydraulic pump, and that's how the hydraulic pump gets its drive when you engage your PDO. So we've got to pull the PDO out. So while that's out, the shaft is quite worn. I think I have a good second-hand one here. We'll actually run through putting a new seal on and a new seal surface and all that. So that'll probably be a video on its own. What I'd like to display in this video is how to get the hydraulic pump out without undoing your lift cover. It's possible. You know, you can do it, no worries at all. You don't have to have the lift cover off. And I think the last video I did on a TE20, look, and that was quite a few years back now, I lifted the lift cover off and then we sort of filmed down in. But this one, I'm going to try and just pull the PDO, do what we need to do with the valve, and just drop the pump out the bottom to show you it's possible. So stay tuned. Hopefully I can get the camera in and down the holes in the side. I've taken the side covers off the gearbox with the 6 bolt holes on each side. The right hand one has the dipstick off. I've taken that off before starting to film, and the PDO engagement lever on the left hand side of the transmission case, I've taken that off too. So we'll get the camera all set up and we'll try and get some light into that gearbox housing and see if we can get some nice clear film for you. See how we go anyway. Okay, we've undone our 4 bolts here. Now this PDO shaft, it should just come out the back. Now, if you've been using something that has say a slasher or a topper without a clutch on it, and this shaft's bent, they often twist in front of the pump. So if you get this out, say, 3/4 of an inch, and can't get it out any further, well, fair chance you've got a twisted shaft. So we'll pull this out and withdraw him all the way, and you can see it come out and come all the way. So there's a bit of oil coming out of there still. We'll sit that in a plastic pot there, lean him up against the back of the tractor. Okay, that's popping the PDO shaft out. We'll deal with that in a separate video. We'll have a look what we need to do now for the pump. Okay, here we are under the tractor. We're looking under the oil filler, or the oil drain plug I should say, underneath the tractor. And you can see this little bar going across here. And that fella there is the link between your hydraulic lift cover and your pump. So if you just drop your pump down and leave this hooked up, the little arm on your control valve here will get bent up and it won't end well for you. You'll be buying parts. So with the lever, I think if the lever's up, it's forward like that. When the lever's down, it pulls the valve back out so it doesn't pump. But the reason I'm under here laying on my back, and I can't see a thing because the camera's in the road, there's a little clip there. So there's 2 ways of disassembling this. One of them is we can pop that little clip off if I can see where it is. Okay, there's the clip. And what can happen then is this lever can come back out of the control valve, and you can see there's nothing there. There's nothing in there now. The control valve has gone forward into the pump and there's just nothing there. So it's okay for you to drop that pump down. Now I'll show you the other way to do it. And look, I don't know if one way is better than the other way. You got to make up your own mind for that. I've poked that valve up in the pump there so we know it's clear. I'll shift the camera, I'll put it round the side, and I'll show you the other option for doing this job. The other option is you can undo this bolt here, and what that lets you do, you can just undo one side's enough, but you can undo this bolt here. There's a little alloy bridge piece that holds the arms from flexing. The early tractors don't have that. And so with the early tractors, it's possible just to spread these legs here that go onto that control valve, spread them out and get them off the valve, and then you can lift up. The later ones, there was some flex in these arms, so the later tractors have an alloy block in here, and you can undo one or two of these screws, and that lets you open up the legs and pull them off that little cross arm on the valve. But because we've gone the way we've gone and we've pulled that little pin, there's no real need to do that, but that's the other option. When we go back together, we will probably go back together differently, and we'll probably have these bolts undone and put it up in there, because it's easier to control where the control valve sits if you have it on that T-piece first. But just to drop the pump out, what we've done by pulling that pin is fine. Okay, you can see these bolts here. We have 1, 2, they're the two back ones. Then we come up further forward, there's one here, one here, one there, same on the other side, one there, and one here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bolts. Yep, that looks about right. I can't see any other stuff around. Okay, these bolts at the end, there's bolts, tap ports at the end there. We don't have to touch them at all. And I'll do this off camera because there's no room to undo all those bolts with the camera here and use my nut gun and all that. So I'll get them out, and next time you'll see the pump, it'll be coming out of that housing. Okay, there's the bolts gone. Now we just need to lever the pump down a little bit, break that gasket. I'm sorry you can't see all of this really well, but it has to come backwards and then out it comes. Okay, here we are up on the bench. Leaking oil everywhere, but that's what the bench is for. So there's our pump out, and what I've done, I've put the PDO shaft in through the pump just to show you. Now this is your PDO drive, so when you engage your PDO, the collar comes back onto this shaft here, and by turning that shaft, you can hear the pump working. So that's how your hydraulic pump works. That's why you have to have your PDO engaged to have your hydraulic pump working. Now, what I was saying about with the, sometimes if something's hit the shaft and really given it a hard time, this shaft can actually twist at the front of the hydraulic pump here. Then when it twists there, you'll get this shaft out a little bit, but you can't get it past the twist. So look, then you're in real trouble. So what we've had to do in the past is pop that shaft forward, sometimes split the tractor behind the gear stick, chop that off. I've had people tell me that they've taken the lift cover off and hopped down and chopped it off. I've never done that. But you can split the tractor, you push that shaft forward as far as you can, even if you've got to take the bearing housing or something off. That's a doer. Yeah, it's just a bit difficult sometimes. But with that shaft, get it forward as far as you possibly can. It's not going to come too far forward, but because it's captive at the back, but you may have to cut that off. But look, that's beside the point. I just thought I'd mention that.